Greetings, my name is Chamomile, and this is an exploration of the entire Star Wars galaxy, sector by sector. Today, we're talking about the Vardoss Sector in 6th Black Sword Command. Vardoss Sector is home to Cashier, an absolute monarchy that wanted to join the Republic from the very edge of the unknown regions during the late Republic era. This was the era when the Republic didn't really have to make any compromises with dictatorships, but also the era when they had a kind of as long as they've got credits approach to pan-galactic inclusion, so this was a controversy. Probably the death blow was that the Cashier openly celebrated the ability to steal and get away with it, so the planet had a thriving culture of pickpockets. If you didn't get caught in the act, theft was basically legal. Sure, that's a whole new planet of consumers, but if they're agnostic about paying for the things they consume, that kind of puts a damper on their application. The Oversector commands were originally established during the Clone Wars, each having its own defined area of the Republic's de jure borders to defend. Some of them were located in core territory and were responsible for maintaining second and third lines of defense and rear echelon security, but were mainly used as a reserve for the front lines. Others were the front lines themselves, with separatist strongholds within their assigned area of space and an objective of capturing them. 6th Black Sword Command was mostly the former, assigned to the Negs, which, for all they semi-regularly get raided by weird aliens from unknown space, were pretty much entirely within Republic space from beginning to end of the war. The Grand Army of the Republic was meant to fight the Seps, so cannibal pirates with 4 eye stalks and skin made of jello were a low priority, and that was mostly the only threat Black Sword faced. The Vardoss Sector, though, wound up on the front lines in the closing stages of the Clone Wars, to the extent that there were any front lines left at all. Over here in the Spinworks region of the galaxy, the CIS wasn't as aggressive early on because they were focused on connecting their more isolated territories together. Especially after the Hutts sided with the Republic, the Confederacy focused their attacks on connecting their spinwards and trailing territories by invading the mid-rim segments of the Slice, and that didn't leave many troops to push their advantage in the Spinwards region. They still made a play for Vardoss 4, though, going through the unknown regions to skip over the Republic front lines in the mid-rim in hopes of outflanking them and winning a bit more buffer space for the CIS's regional stronghold in Megiddo. This was early in the war, when the Grand Army of the Republic was still struggling to defend all its territory, so this attack plausibly could have worked, but a Republic fleet arrived to fend off the Separatist ships before they could deploy droid armies to the surface and dig in. In the later stages of the war, the Seps gave up on linking their spinwards and trailing territory together and started fighting as effectively 2, then 3, then 4 totally separate nations. They were still politically aligned, but by the time Megiddo fell, it was the de jure capital of its own fragment of the Separatist movement, with no ability to retreat into remaining CIS holdout territory around Sereno and Raxus. So, they looped around through the unknown regions again and attacked Vardoss 4 with a bunch of pirates and Zygerian slavers as backup. This was a desperation move from the Separatists, with no plan for winning a greater victory. In theory, they were still trying to wear the Republic down until they accepted a stalemate. The Separatists never considered it realistic to invade the core, after all, so they were sticking to the same basic plan they'd had since the start of the war: fight the Republic to exhaustion and force them to accept Separatist control over part of the galaxy. They'd scaled their ambitions back from the entire Outer Rim to just one planet at Vardoss 4 in the hopes that the Republic, already exhausted, would accept the secession of Vardoss 4 and its surrounding sector as fairly unimportant. This was always an extreme long shot. Sure, the Republic was tired from 3 years of war, but they still had multiple Oversector armies stomping around. It just wasn't that hard to point one of them at Vardoss 4 and finish the Seps off. But after the fall of Megiddo, it was the best shot the Separatists had, so they went for it.